Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Valley News Now. Duke Schindler here with you, as well as our Chief Meteorologist Russ Thomas joining us here. Yes, how we doing? How we doing, Russ?
Well, we're doing okay. We're coming off a great week, and I don't know if you had the opportunity to get outside. I know there were a couple of football games that we necessarily probably weren't excited about the final outcome. so I took some time to
said
go
it better
outdoors.
myself.
Yeah, but we've been watching. And really, we've been watching this about the middle of last week. I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. We called First Alert Weather Days for Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, kind of keeping our eye out on a weather system. And again, you kind of go that far. You look back to last week. When you're forecasting a week out, it's kind of like, okay, you see something developing. Is it going to hit us? Is it going to miss us? You just want to alert people that, hey, this could happen. Now, as this thing has come a little more organized, we're getting closer. Now we're less than 12 hours away from some areas starting to get snow. And it is really coming to focus that much of the region is going to see at least a couple, if not more, inches of snowfall.
Yep, and kind of let's start with that here. Looks like we have a first alert day for Tuesday and Wednesday so far. So let's start with Tuesday here, Russ. What should we be expecting that kind of Monday night heading into Tuesday?
Yeah, I think what we'll see, and again, Duke, if you want to pop this up full screen, just kind of showing people the first alert weather day, and then we'll kind of move into the part of it, kind of the how it's going to move and the timing, that sort of thing. But again, it's snow, and it's more than just snow. It's wind as well. Once we get to, I think, about mid-morning tomorrow, early to mid-morning, and then moving through the afternoon, evening, we're going to see some wind gusts out there, 35+ miles per hour in some spots. And of course, this is big because this is a holiday week, right? So many people traveling tomorrow, in particular on Wednesday as well. And unfortunately, this is what we're dealing with. So we've got what you're seeing right here. This is issued by the National Weather Service just in the last few minutes here. Winter weather advisory, that is the areas here shaded in purple, and that is most of our region. We've got about 2 to 6 inches of snowfall, so that's a wide gap there. What we're expecting is the farther north you are, if you're in Grand Forks, if you're in Devil's Lake, Thief River, Boston, you're going to be a little closer to that 2 to 3 inch range. You start heading toward Fargo area south, within that blue area, that potential is there for 3, 4, maybe 5 inches. You get a little farther south, there's an area here, and it extends from Lisbon through about Foreman, it includes Fergus Falls as well, where we could see locally 6+ inches of snowfall. So add that with wind gusts of 35 miles per hour, we're talking a true classic winter storm coming right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, we love that. Hey, luckily, maybe this is the first time I've been happy to work on Thanksgiving now here too.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then, yeah, just kind of looking at that too as well, Russ, just out of curiosity for me, how often does the south portion of the state expect more snow than the north does?
You know, it really depends. It's that track of the storm here, and it really is in this case. I mean, typically we're going to be cold enough in the region this time of year to where it's more the storm track than it has to do necessarily with temperature impact, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is we'll look at our radar real quick here, and I'll kind of give you an idea. We'll walk through the motions of the storm, but you can see a lot of snow right now, and it is located mostly in northeast Montana. Just starting to see a few of those snowflakes develop there in western North Dakota. So let's go ahead and track this. And again, several weather models that we look at. This is the one, most of them are in pretty good agreement at this point. The one we're using is called our NAM North American model here. And what you're going to find is the areas in blue are, of course, your snow. The deeper blue colors there indicate where we're going to find the heavier snow. The green, we're going to see rain. So we're going to take you through by about 6 o'clock. Notice what happens here. 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Westernmost areas are getting snow. You can start to see it loop around, just trying to hit into Fargo-Moorhead right around that 6 a.m., 7 a.m. time frame. You see where the shades are of the deeper blue there. So that's where, as we continue to move through this, we'll see the focus. And what I want to do, Duke, is just real quick walk through a couple more steps of this. And so now we're looking at 10 in the morning. And I think the window, for Fargo-Moorhead in particular, I think we look at about 9, 10 in the morning through about 2, 3 in the afternoon as a window where we're going to get that heavier snow. Now that's a several-hour window. You see where the deeper blue colors are located. Notice how they're staying mostly Fargo, Moorhead areas south and areas east. So that is 3 o'clock, and then we'll walk through the rest here in just a second. But kind of interesting to notice how widespread. But again, the farther north you go, the lighter the snow amounts are going to be.
Right, and you can see it when you pulled it up there right around that 5:50, 6 a.m., right when everyone's going to be waking up, getting and starting ready to get ready to leave for Thanksgiving here. So for those drivers, are we looking at kind of a leaving early scenario, maybe leave a half hour early at this point?
I think if you can, I think if you're in our western areas, like if you're basically Castleton areas west, unless you leave, I think at 5 in the morning, you're going to start to see the snow. Once you get to Fargo and certainly areas east, then what we're going to find is if you're in areas in Minnesota, you do want to head out earlier. I think if you hit the road at 6:30, you're probably in good shape. Once we get to about 7, 8 o'clock and beyond, that's where I think we'll start to see that impact with the travel. So I would say the earlier the better, but what I can't guarantee you, I can't guarantee that if you say, okay, I'm going to leave at 6, that the snows are already not going to be coming down. I think the issue then becomes we get deeper in the morning and certainly afternoon, that heavier snow starts to really build on the ground on some of the streets and certainly side roads, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you know, obviously there's gonna be a couple people that sleep in a little later than they want to. They have that alarm set for 6, but ends up getting to 8 here. So if someone gets a little later start on that Tuesday, what should they expect for road conditions? We know that heavier snow may be there, but what does that look like?
Right, and that's exactly it is. In those areas where we have the heaviest snow, and again, we're kind of getting back to that map there, and you can see some of those deeper purples. Now this is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but anywhere you see those areas with the darker blue, that's where we expect that heavier snow. And again, I think for the way the system moves across the region, it's going to move from west to central areas to east, is that window of time for Fargo and Moorhead. I think we've got about 9, 10 in the morning through about 2, 3, maybe 4 in the afternoon, where that's when we expect the snow to come down heaviest. And keep in mind, it is going to be windy as well, so we're going to see poor visibility. So we head to that. Now, what I'm doing is quickly moving through. I do want to let you know, so by the time we get to Wednesday here, snow moves out late tomorrow evening. By Wednesday, we've got some sunshine out there, but the thing is, we focus on Wednesday morning. That's the other part of this. We have a first weather day for Wednesday. The reason is not because it's still going to be snowing. The snow will be out. It's because so many folks traveling. Roads, I think in a lot of areas, are going to be relatively poor. So if you plan on heading out early to grandma's house.
Yeah.
If you're, if you're driving across the strait, if you're driving south, really for those travelers who are driving, I think that's that time period, that window where even though on Wednesday we're not seeing any snow come down and we'll have some sunshine, it's the roads I think are still going to, because temperatures dropping down in the teens and low 20s by Wednesday morning.
So you mentioned the sunlight will be out for that day, but it may not do too much for kind of melting that snow, getting it off the road.
I don't think early in the day. I think once we get, road crews do a great job around the community of getting that snow off as best they can. I think we get to about 10, 11, certainly midday on Wednesday. I don't want to say the roads are going to completely be better. I can tell you that combination of sunshine, even though we're not going to warm up to freezing, sunshine along given a little time for the roads to be cleared out, we'll be in better shape then. So I think maybe, I guess I would say, if you're taking Wednesday as a travel day, if you're not going to work, by the way, if you are going to work Wednesday morning, likely going to be slick. If you've got travel plans and you can wait 2, 3 hours instead of leaving at 7, 8 o'clock, maybe wait till 11 noon, I think by that point we should be in better shape.
Gotcha. And then when we're kind of looking at things here as well, are these storms sort of typical for Thanksgiving? When's the last time we really seen something like this come into the area?
It's not completely atypical, meaning, occasionally it will happen. Back in 2019, it was November 30th, which actually that year fell the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was on the 28th that year. We had a 7.5-inch snow in Fargo. So that was 6 years ago. So it's not unheard of. That came again over the Thanksgiving holiday, but later. What is kind of unusual is getting this kind of snow and it happening right there before Thanksgiving. This doesn't happen every year or every 2 or 3 years. This is more like maybe once every 10, 12 years that we see a good snow, a heavier snow leading right into Thanksgiving.
Wonderful. We got one comment here from Sherry Ripple here, Russ. She's asking, is Hazen, North Dakota supposed to get up to 3 to 6 inches of snow tonight, she's asking, tonight?
Not so much tonight. What we're going to see is going to be the snow will continue to come down. So it starts overnight. By the time we get, I think, to about 10, 11 o'clock noon in those western areas, by that point, in those southern areas as well, that's when we start to have that best chance when that snow really gets going, because initially what we're going to see is this. when that snow first comes down early in the morning, we're going to get some initial melting. The roads are still warm enough to where we're going to get that. Once those temperatures start to drop, once that snow really gets going and it's heavier, it's hard for the roads to keep up with it. It's hard for, and then you start getting the snow, temperatures getting colder. So the answer is not overnight tonight. I'm expecting the accumulation to really hit the roadways probably around, again, 9, 10, 11, depending on where you're located. A little bit early western areas, but yeah, so I don't think overnight 3 to 6 in terms of what we're going to see out there during that time period, no.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
I do want, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, would you mind pulling up that model comparison full screen here?
Absolutely. What do we
Thank you,
got
Duke.
here?
Okay, so a couple different weather models here. We've got the NAM, which is the one that we're leaning toward in terms of what we expect. And again, our weather models right now, we have about 5 or 6 we look at. All of them are showing roughly the same areas, give or take, where we're going to see the most snow, the least snow. Where there are variances happens to be right in the central heart of the region. So we start looking at Fargo and Moorhead. I mean, we're parked right here in the middle, right? I think 3-inch. Then for the graph model there, you get more toward the NAM. We're looking at maybe 3, 4, 5 inches. We're leaning toward that NAM graphic, but these are the kind of comparing the weather models, and you see not a lot of difference there. But the darker the blue, that's basically, as mentioned, the indication of where we're going to see the heaviest snow. And as you can see, regardless, and we could look at the other models as well, we're not going to, we just pulled these two out, but all of them are showing roughly the same thing at this point.
Yep, just looks like here and there kind of. Maybe this place gets a little more, maybe this place gets a little more.
Right. And based on pulling this up as well, this is through Wednesday morning. But the reality is the snow will be out of here, I think, late Tuesday evening, overnight. This, with the weather model that we are going with, you can kind of see the areas where we've got the 1 to 3 shade, the 3 to 6, areas of 6 inches plus, in the southernmost areas, this darker blue color. So again, what this gives you is kind of a range where you can look at your town, your area, and you can say, okay, I'm falling within this dark blue area, meaning this is the area we'll more likely see the most snow of the system. You head up toward, if you look at Langdon, you look at Baudette, some of those areas going to see very little to even no snow. So some are going to escape in our region, most are not.
Hard to get past that, it looks like.
Right.
got a lot of accumulation and got a lot of precipitation heading on here.
Exactly. One more thing I do want to show you here, and then I actually have a Thanksgiving forecast to end things up, the actual day itself. But you can see that the color red there, that indicates poor travel conditions. We're looking as early as 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, going all the way through 7 p.m. tomorrow morning. And what you're seeing is it's poor the entire time. Whether it's the snow on the ground complicating things, whether it's the snow with the wind blowing, creating poor visibility, all of that plays into it. So really throughout the day tomorrow, and again, that actually spills over into Wednesday morning with the snow on the ground as well, causing some travel issues.
And then you mentioned Thanksgiving Day. What are we looking at?
Let's pop that
What
up.
are we looking at?
That
looks delicious.
Here's a positive. Exactly. Here's a positive. Mostly sunny. It is going to be cold. I can't do anything about that. But it is going to be mostly sunny. So I think we get a lot of sunshine reflecting off that snow. Like I said, unless you're the extreme northern areas, maybe you don't have any snow for it to reflect off of. But most areas are going to see the snow on the ground. We'll have the sunshine out there. Very pretty day. I think, again, mostly blue sky, but cold, teens, mid-20s. That's not something, obviously, we're used to those numbers in the middle of the winter. The thing is these are coming early, and I will tell you that temperatures are going to remain well below normal well into next week, and it looks like even the following week. So what do I mean by that? I mean at least the next 2 weeks plus, where we're going to see our temperatures anywhere from below 0 during the overnight hours at times to high temperatures as warm as the 20s within that range. So it's a good extended period of cold we're looking at, but Thanksgiving itself is going to be pretty.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are we expecting any other snow here coming up after the holidays? Like you mentioned, it's going to be cold these next couple weeks ahead of us. Any snow, any mix coming into the mix there?
I think that's a great question you asked there. From Friday evening through really Sunday, weather models are showing the potential for some snow in our southernmost locations. So as we look at Fargo, Moorhead, we may get some light snow over the weekend, a few showers. Not at this point, not looking at accumulating snow. You start heading toward our southernmost locations. If you're in Sisseton, if you're in Hankinson, if you're in Wapaton, Ellendale, those areas, better, and also Southern Lakes Country, better opportunity that you might see over the weekend, a couple inches of snow, maybe even 3. But by and large, other than more light snow showers, we're not really expecting much. Again, we always have to watch this time of year. I mean, this time last week, we were keeping an eye out for today, not really thinking, or tomorrow and Wednesday, I should say, not really seeing something organized that was going to bring several inches, 6 inches plus of snow in some areas, and yet that's what we're looking at. So as I'm looking ahead to the weekend, saying right now it doesn't look like much other than a few showers. Obviously, want to keep you updated. A lot of folks for the weekend, instead of traveling to their destinations, are now traveling back to their destinations. We hope we don't want to deal with it. We hope we don't see any more snow and that we don't have to deal with that.
Certainly, and you know, it may be cold on Thanksgiving Day, but we're going to be inside. The heat's going to be on. We're going to have pounds of food in us and napping anyways at that point, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like I'm already there. I mean, I know it's 3 days away, but I'm getting full just thinking about how much I'm going to eat.
And then do we have anything else here, Russ?
No, I think that's it. Like I said, I think it's just one of those times. Please be careful. I will say that I have a friend who is a first responder in Cass County here, and we were talking a few weeks ago, but just about how he's been doing it for years, first responder. He says for whatever reason, you get to that first big snow, and it's like people have forgotten how bad it is, right?
Every time.
And so you see so many accidents with that first snow, and after that, it's typically not as bad because then the memory's there. Okay, this is really tough. Yep. So I'm encouraging people to take it easy on the roadways. Give yourself time. If you have to leave half an hour early because you know you slow down, you might run into the snow or the roads are slick or whatever. Give yourself that extra effort. Don't rush. Please don't rush and drive fast because that's
The food's always going to be there, even if it's just a little colder. That's why we have microwaves.
Thank you. Yes, that is why I have microwaves. Exactly.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Russ, and thank you for watching here on the Valley News Now Network. A lot of interesting weather here coming up in the next couple days. Just make sure you're safe on the roadways if you're planning on traveling, and have that VNN weather app handy for any updates we may be able to bring you. But Russ, thanks again for hopping on.
Thank you, Duke. Yeah, of course.
And
be safe out there.
Yes, make sure you're safe out there, and thank you very much for joining us.